everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. So in the last patch, Big Bird was released for the Chaos faction to play in multiplayer. He does look really cool. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have many units that fit to Zeech other than himself, so almost any army you put him in is going to be like, it doesn't really look like a Tzeentch army. So that's kind of unfortunate, but hey, he looks cool. So we have Big Bird, we have a front line of Chaos Warriors, 2 of the Chaos Marauders with great weapons, 2 Chaos Warriors with great weapons, 2 Exalted Heroes with the new Mark of Khorne, which it makes them immune to Psychology, gives them a charge bonus and melee attack. We have a Chosen with Halberds back here, and 2 Forsaken units. Surreal is joining me for this battle, and he has Ungor Raiders, Ungor Spears with shields, 2 Gors with shields, 2 Minotaurs with great weapons, 2 Gorbals, a generic Beast Lord, and 2 Bestigors. We are fighting against a Vampire Count and a Dwarven player today. We have 2 Crypt Ghouls, 3 groups of zombies, a Puppy, which I rarely see, a Crypt Horror, a line of Skeletal Warriors, 3 Graveguard, 3 Direwolves, and Manfred von Karstein on a Zombie Dragon, which is insanely expensive. How many spells did you even take? Hold on. Where's my, where are you? Holy crap. So that thing has to cost at least 3,000, if not more, with all the spells and abilities they decided to take with the Zombie Dragon on Manfred. That is an insanely expensive unit right now in this new patch. Alright, and the Dwarf player took a front line of Dwarf Warriors, 2 Slayers, 3 Gyrocopters with Brimstone Guns, 2 Quarrelers, a Generic Lord, and a Runesmith. Then we also have 2 Longbeards with great weapons. 3 Gyrocopters with Brimstone Guns. Probably because he's facing off against a Beastmen player and is tired of dealing with Minotaurs, I would imagine. Which Surreal has Minotaurs and Gorbals. For large creatures for me, I got Big Bird. That's basically it. Also, this is the Tomb of Marbad, I believe. That's what this one is called. Hold on. I forgot to do that before the video started. So we get a more slower, intimate camera. So we can focus on Big Bird. Big Bird comes with the Lore of Metal, by the way. I'll run over Big Bird's stats after the battle, just so you can get familiar with what he is. But he's a spellcaster, and he's also a decent melee combatant as well. His actual name, though, is Sarthoriel, but that's not cool. Just call him Big Bird. So Surreal is going to be marching against the Dwarf player immediately. I am going to try and reinforce him, and I'm going to try to put my Chaos Warriors in this gap right here in case the Vampire player wants to try and flank me. So that's what I'm currently going for right now. Has a lot of Ungors. So the Dwarf, or the Minotaurs with great weapons, they are anti-large, so they're a little bit lost against the Dwarven player here. They're not going to their full potential. Here comes Big Bird. Meanwhile, the Vampire Count player is trying to find a spot to get through. So I'm, again, putting up our line of Chaos Warriors along with a Exalted Hero, while the rest of our forces are going to come around the left flank of the Dwarf player. That looks really cool. Big Bird's attacks are magical. You can see these Slayers are getting into the Minotaurs, and because they're mixed in with the Longbeards as well, they're not going to get focused down that fast. So that's a pretty good use of Slayers there to mix them in with other units to maximize their potential. Meanwhile, these 3 Gyrocopters with Brimstone Guns are just shooting into the Minotaurs. Give you an overview of the battle right now. My forces are still going to be getting around the left flank here, as I was also preparing to meet the Vampire Count player. They're going to be charging in their Crypt Horrors along with some zombies. Basically, this is like the Death Ball, but it's just zombies and Crypt Horrors right here. Instead of Banshees, or Wraiths and Crypt Horrors. So seeing that the Cryptor is over here, I'm actually going to throw in our Chosen with Halberds soon-ish, because I want to take those Cryptors down. Meanwhile, our anti-armor forces, the Chaos Warriors and the Chosen, or not the Chosen, sorry, the Marauders, are going to be marching around the left flank to try and flank these high-armored dwarves. That is a lot of stuff. Transmutation of lead was being dropped by Big Bird to lower their melee attack and damage. And you can see these Chaos Warriors with great weapons are going to just be able to chew through the Longbeards. Our Forsaken are going to be thrown in here soon on the right flank. Big Bird flying in. Just a Minotaur party happening over here. Meanwhile, we are still wrapping around the sides of the dwarves. The Longbeards with great weapons, a lot of their damage is going to kind of be not maximized here against Marauders, which is perfect for me. Meanwhile, over here, we have our Halberds, Chosen Halberds in the fight, but because of all of these damn zombies, I can't actually get them to fight against the Cryptors. So the zombies are thrown in, and then the direwolves are thrown in to, again, I imagine, give more bodies for my Chaos Warriors to attack instead of the Cryptors while they continue to do their damage. And also, I believe Manfred summoned, they summoned zombies behind us as well to just get more bodies over there. And you can see some of the forces from Surreal at this point have withdrawn, but they are coming back from routing. We have the Dwarven Lord in the middle of their Ungors. Our Forsaken are currently fighting off some more zombies on this flank, along with Big Bird and some more of our Chaos Warriors. And then what else? We have Corler still alive, and then, of course, the Gyrocopters are still alive, just shooting down Brimstone, gunning death upon us because we have no answer for them. Also Slayers, still around. These Marauders are finally getting around behind them. We're going to try and charge into the Quarrelers. They do get a Dwarven Warrior to meet us as well. You can see they're getting some runes from their Runesmith to buff up their entire army. Armor and damage resistance. We have the Graveguard into our Chaos Warriors and Forsaken over here. Also Manfred's Zombie Dragon. And Fluffy, the puppy. Oh, Fluffy. So at this point, my leader, Big Bird, has actually been killed. So all we have left over here is our Exalted Hero leading our forces on this side. Now we're getting into some Graveguard over here with our Marauders. Some of the Minotaurs are still alive, luckily. And over here, our Forsaken are still trying to do their best against the Skeletal Warriors, Zombies, and Graveguard. And that Fluffy is causing a disturbance. Meanwhile, over here, our Chosen with Halberds still can't reach the Cryptors, so we are slowly just being whittled down by skeletons, by zombies, the direwolves that are still around, and then these Cryptors. Our Halberds are just wasting their damage on these zombie walls while they're trying to get to the Cryptors. These Gorbulls doing what they can, but they are still being shot at by the Brimstone guns and dealing with the Dwarf Lord and Manfred on the Zombie Dragon. Meanwhile, Fluffy gets into the middle of our Chaos Warriors with great weapons. You can see the Rune of Wrath and Rune being dropped on them as well from the Runesmith. And let's pause it to let you see the overview of what's going on. The Dwarf forces have been battered and bruised, but they still do have the Gyrocopters. They have a couple of their Quarrelers, I believe, both still intact. Maybe it's just this one. The other ones maybe are dead or running. But their Dwarf Lord is still in there. They have a couple groups of Slayers still in there. We have some Bestigors in the back there. Come back from routing. Our Chaos Warriors that come back from routing, so we're going to try and throw them in there. But as far as leaders go, we have a Gorbul routing there. I believe the Beast Lord for Surreal has been killed. And all he has left is the Gorbuls for leadership, just like I have those Exalted Warriors. And what I thought was going to be a very easy flank to hold with the very sturdy Chaos Warriors and Chosen with Halberds is a flank that we're actually losing because of all of the bodies thrown in our way from killing the actual main threat of the Cryptors. It was a really nice strategy to keep summoning zombies and throwing in useless units to keep our Chaos Warriors and Chosen tied down there, or else those Chaos, or the Cryptors would have been destroyed really quickly. You see, we don't really have many units left at this point. My Exalted Hero is now singled out, trying to run for his life. I have some units that came back from routing, and I'm going to try and bring them together to amass another force against the enemy here. Pulling back our Chaos Warriors from disengagement because it's no longer one that we can win currently. We need to get our forces back. So I'm going to try and reinforce this flank over here, but this is where Manfred is coming as well, along with the Fluffy, which is not good. My Chaos Warriors are going to rout at this point. There goes I believe, a Fate of Buna. Yep, there goes the Fate of Buna on our Chaos Warriors. Our Chosen. Trying to get reinforcements in there, but like I don't have much to deal with. The puppy, Manfred, I have nothing to deal with like any of these units really at this point. But you can see I'm trying to get our forces around to at least try and deal with one flank at a time. But we are being shot at by the Brimstone guns. They're trying to single out my hero. And he routs again. And when he routs, the rest of my army is chain routed, meaning that we are going to lose against the Dwarves and the Vampire Counts. So yeah, I got crushed by that Cryptor and the puppy. They took me out. I sent Big Bird into the middle of their skeletal formation, and then he got singled out by Manfred von Karstein and murdered, unfortunately. And then the Dwarves, they just held, man. That Runesmith and the Brimstone guns did really well. So good game to my opponents and Surreal. Let's take a look at the kill counts. For me, Big Bird got 54. The Exalted Heroes did really well. The Marauders, I think, did really good. Well, one of them did. Our Forsaken got a ton of kills, but those are against Skeletal Warriors and Zombies for the most part. Maybe some of the Graveguard are thrown in there as well, but still a high amount of kills from the Forsaken. Chaos Warriors, again, a high amount of kills, but a lot of those are meaningless units of Skeletal Warriors and Zombies, so and maybe a couple Cripples. Chosen with Halberds, 241. None of those were any unit that meant anything. Like, I don't even think they killed, like, a single Cryptor. Ugh. So yeah, an impressive amount of kills, but in the long run, most of these kills meant really nothing. If you think about just how many zombies and skeletal warriors and direwolves were thrown our way, they just didn't mean anything. Let's see, for Surreal, the Gorbuls did amazing, because the Gorbuls, the Ungor frontline did okay, the Gore Herd did okay. Bestigors did pretty good. They were mostly fighting against the Dwarves, so they got a high amount of kills. The Ungors, not much at all. And then the Minotaurs, one group looks like it was shut down pretty quickly by those Brimstone guns. The other one managed to still rack up a decent amount of kills. For the Vampire Count player here, 79 kills from Manfred on his Zombie Dragon, which again is going to have to be over 3,000. So you really paid for Manfred in this one. The Zombies and the Skeletal Warriors did their job. They got killed and held me off from killing the more important units of like the Graveguard, which did all really well. The Direwolves, again, did a great job at throwing their bodies into my axes. Cryptorers got 36 kills and Fluffy got 35. I wonder how much of this was bought before the battle and how much was earned through the battle, because Vargul, they did a lot of damage. For the Dwarf player, Dwarven Lord getting 100 kills is insane. I didn't realize he was doing that much. Holy crap. Dwarf Warriors doing really well. Longbeards doing well. The Longbeards with great weapons did okay. Slayers did a lot of damage to Minotaurs. This Quarter group got a lot of kills. And then the Brimstone guns, we had no answer for them, and they just rained death down upon us. Wow, 100 kills on a Dwarf Lord. That is really good. Who was he killing? Maybe my Marauders? He'd be pretty good at killing those Marauders. Still though, great job to the enemy players. Hope you enjoyed that one. And now let's take a look at Big Bird. So there is his cost. I believe that's without his spells. Here we go. Let's put everything on. His ability here is metal shifting, which gives armor piercing damage map wide. I opted not to bring it. I don't even know why I did that though. It's only 52. I should have brought that. I don't know why I did that. And for the items, he has the generic scrolls that most of the casters have. So the Scroll of Power. I did bring the Scroll of Shielding for the damage resistance buff because it's 67 seconds for 22%. I think that's really good for 54. And then we have the Hex of the Winds, which is going to reduce power recharge rate, but I didn't bring that. So base, with all of the spells and his basic ability, he is 2485. He has a decent amount of hit points. His armor is really low, but he is going to be unbreakable. His speed is really high. Magic attack is really cool in this game to overcome certain amounts of physical resistances, but none of that was really in this game. So like they would be really good against the Wraiths and Banshees with that magical attack. Melee defense of 40. So like his offensive stats are really impressive. 420 weapon strength is really high. Charge bonus is pretty decent. He's also a siege attacker, which doesn't matter. Magic resistance of 25%, which is really cool. Missile resistant. This is kind of big. 70% missile resistant for Big Bird, which is huge. Huge. 70%. Now the missiles getting through are going to be doing basically max damage, but 70% of them are being blocked, which is nuts. But he also causes fear and terror, so he is a pretty solid unit. I wish he didn't have the metal lore because it's one of my least favorites. Like I really don't like it at all. I think it's just one of the worst lores in the game. But besides that, he is a very solid melee combatant and can just soak up ranged fire damage. And you know he's going to be focused down by range because people are going to see this giant creature coming at them. They're going to throw the coralers and stuff. So a lot of their ammo is going to be wasted against him. So yeah, I think he's pretty well priced for what he is. You can decide to take off some of these spells if you want to. Make him a little cheaper. For, let's look at the vampire count for Manfred. So here we go. Manfred, 2982. That's with all of his spells, all of his abilities, and not even his item here that you can opt in for. But with the zombie dragon, 3,532. Now, I don't think my opponent brought all of these spells. Like, they probably didn't bring Aspect of the Dread Knight, probably didn't bring Doom and Darkness. Probably didn't. They brought the spells that mattered, basically, is what they did. But still, you can, like, even if you take away, like, all of the spells, he is still, which they didn't, but if you do, on the zombie dragon, still 2345 with no spells. So yeah, he is a very expensive unit, but it paid off. Their Manfred did a lot of work in this game. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad that Big Bird is part of the Chaos. It adds a little bit more to their arsenal. I still think Chaos is kind of weak overall, and I'm still really confused how their Spawn and Giant are weaker than the Beastmen's Spawn and Giant. That just really seems odd to me. And yeah, I don't know. I think the Chaos needs more love and attention. But this is a nice start. Releasing this Everwatcher, again, gives them another leader to choose from. But, like, their leadership was kind of solid to begin with. They had the leadership. That really wasn't, I don't think it's really a big issue for the Lords. But, you know what? More is more, so I'm cool with Big Bird being added. I will see you all next time, everybody. Have a good day.